In a world overrun with the fake, delusional, and disingenuous, he stands as a beacon of truth. He is Abukis Cabal. You are listening to Abukis Cabal.
Welcome to the Abukis Cabal Show.
What's going on, everybody? Guess we're back at it again. I've got a special treat for you guys in delusional thinking, magical thinking, if you will. And this is a piece that I found on Vice News. It's an older piece, but I think we can learn something from this, about the thinking that goes into some of the decisions that people make, and then later tend to want some sort of sympathy regarding the ramifications of the decisions that they make. It's interesting, and we'll take a dive into it. But before we do that, we're going to take a moment for our sponsors. This show will be brought to you guys by none other than OnlyFans. Banned and now back again, but they'll never take our freedom. It's Captain Save a Ho approved. And also by the 304 card, the luxury 304 card. Fulfill all of your nastiest desires with the man of your choice, and then later file suit for whatever comes to mind at the time of your choosing. Days, months, or years later. It doesn't matter when you use your luxury 304 card. And also by Manwich, the original Sloppy Joe sauce since 1975. But recently changed in 2021 to gender-neutral meat sauce. Still a tasty treat for gender-neutral people. And also I'd like to take this time to salute all of you who support the channel and what we strive to do, which is to basically educate and inspire people to think in a linear, logical way, to embrace science and facts and all of the hard work that goes behind obtaining all that data and statistics, and to establish science that leads us towards the truth. Not your feelings, but the truth. All right. Let's get after it. All righty. As said, show's going to be based on the Informer part series in Vice World News. And this one deals with an escort. She has some interesting thoughts about, the path that she's chosen. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to dissect it. And this will be fair use. Hopefully they will not take offense to me taking a stab at this. But let's get after it.
I've been escorting for 10 years on and off. I first started escorting when I was at university, and one day my friend just said to me, oh, I know a girl and she gets loads of money for escorting. And I was only 18 at the time. And naively, I thought it was just going for dinner with men. It was more of a sugar baby role I had in my head. When I got...
See? I'm going to stop here for a second. See, when and this is going to be, this is going to cover a few things that we've seen here recently with regard to a lot of the cases that have come out where these women agree to be paid for doing things that don't even meet the standard for the amount of money that they're being paid. They're either told up front, and later it doesn't fit in their heads that what they're doing is going to have something to do with them doing something sexual for these men who are going to be giving them this amount of money. But you see how her friend came to her while she was 18, and she says she's 18 because, look, she knows that she can't be any younger than that, because then it's suspect, to other laws that could have been broken. Okay. But here you have a situation where a young woman who is in university, so she's not naive in any way, shape, or form. She's in college. She's getting all kinds of education regarding, ethics and other things that you have to go through as the basics before you even, you reach your last 2 years. And those things should give a reasonable person enough faculties to be able to disregard the lure of fast money. But it didn't. Now this next part gets a little gross there, but then you have to also take into consideration. I mean, she said that she thought that she was going to be a sugar baby. So men are just going to give you money just to go and eat with them, and they pay for your meals and let you get pretty, and they're just going to pay you. And this is the fictitious world that that modern women have ascribed to. You have a situation where, all you have to do is just go and you look. Look on Instagram, you look on Twitter, you look on Facebook. All of them look exactly the same. Same eyelashes, same eyebrows, same makeup scheme, same hair. Doesn't matter, white, black. It doesn't really matter. As you move along, you'll see that some have their real hair, and others wear wigs, and some have their real hair and hair pieces to thicken out their hair to make them look more like the social construct that has been put into their minds looks like. Now, they blame us for this. They blame men for this social construct because they say that we accept, we even push for women to look this way. And, I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. Okay. Let's see what else she said. Okay. Well, this next part, she goes into the acts that were committed, and she is unfazed by the acts that she had to commit even early into the situation. She's unfazed by what she has to do for money. So that shows you a mindset that has to be present to where you'll do anything for money other than get a job and work hard and do what average people, normal people do, which is to grind to get that money. Okay. So this is the new mindset. But, we see a lot of pushback from these other ladies who circle the wagons around these type of women, and they don't have to even be professional. There are other aspects of this this finesse culture that shows you what people are willing to do this. And then later on, they're going to want to take that, their whore credentials or the whole card. They're going to want to get that back. And then they want to basically destroy it and act like it never existed. See, because then later on, I should be able to have a normal life after I've been out here run through and doing all kinds of debauchery to men, to the point to where I don't even respect men or humanity at all, but she feels that she deserves to be able to have a normal life after this. So let's go through this. This is a warning right now that this is going to get quite graphic. We're going to try to get through this. If you are not willing to hear this, you might want to mute this part out. But here we go.
My first job, I soon realised that it was definitely not. Since then, obviously, there's been a lot of jobs, and I try and block them out. I can't remember all of them. I don't know how many people I've had sex with. It's probably...
Okay, so here you have a woman who doesn't even remember how many people that she's had sex with, but in the minds, I mean, look, I was just watching, Fresh and Fit the other day, where these women are like, well, if the man doesn't know, it doesn't matter. If he doesn't know how many men I've been through, it doesn't matter. We know. You may think that you hide it, but we know, because there's going to be certain things that are characteristic of a woman who hasn't done, been through a bunch of dudes, that are it's just going to be present. You may think that we're stupid, but we're not. Okay. So, here we go. Thousands of men.
During COVID, the hotels are actually still open secretly. Yesterday, I booked a hotel. It's basically like a brothel. Everyone does it there. In the first few months of the lockdown, I actually didn't do many meets, but luckily some old clients had managed to find me again. It didn't really stop anyone. Clients were still meeting. Escorts were still booking the hotels. No one was scared of the virus. I swear, when it comes to sex, men do not give a shit. They will seriously just do anything.
Okay, you see how she throws it on the men when it comes to sex? The men don't give a shit. They'll do anything. You didn't either, because you were out there too. You're out there and you're offering yourself up as product in a time that was deadly. And most governments were telling people to basically stay off the streets, stay in. But these people right here are part of the reason why, the proliferation of the virus took place, among other things that are out there that are probably being spread around. But here you go. We'll just keep pushing along here.
A guy was like, do you want to give me COVID? Like, tell me you want to give me COVID and make me die. I was spitting on him and coughing on him. And then afterwards, he's like, did you get tested? Have you got COVID? And I was just like, you fucking weirdo.
Yeah. You're a fucking weirdo after I cough on you and throw up on you and spit on you and all kinds of shit. Then he's the weirdo. But you see, she did it in order to get that money, right? So it's whatever nasty debauchery that he desires, just as long as she gets that money. But you guys listen very, very closely.
I've had other weird stuff. So a big one is hard sports, and that's shitting. People eating shit, having shit on them. The weirdest one I had was a guy that wanted me to save us a week's worth of shit in a freezer and go to a domination dungeon with him, and he poured it all over himself, and then I was just standing there calling him a literal piece of shit, and he was just rubbing it all over himself, wanking. Another weird one is...
Okay, now you hear that? Now, he's the weird one. He's the twisted one. But she saved up her stuff, her, fecal matter there for weeks in order to get paid and to go and put it on some person, Now, some people would have you believe that this woman is a victim and that all of her clients are the ones who need to be put away. And right now, here in the United States, we're moving back towards a time where they're going to start to arrest the people who frequent the prostitutes and the escorts and not the escorts themselves. So unlike the drug war, where they tried to get the drugs off the street and they arrested people, they just let the swanky looking half-dressed women walk on the street and lure the men in, and then they arrest them. So it's just like an endless show of bait out there for you to just basically catch sharks, catch sharks who want to eat. And you're basically putting sharks in jail for doing what they do, which is to want to eat, This is crazy. But let's move on here.
Puking, you could be like the submissive one, giving them a blowjob and puking on them, or they could be the submissive one and you're puking on them, saying you're a piece of shit, like, I'm puking on you, look at you, you're disgusting. A lot of people do ask for back, which is a very scary thing because STIs are obviously prevalent in society and you just never know. And I've actually had a few scares and it's like, why would you ask an escort for a bareback meet when you know that she could have fucked 10 guys that day? They don't give a shit. As you
Okay. Again, you see the conversation is going towards that the men don't care. But then there's an aspect of this that she is failing to, well, she's exposing, but she doesn't even see it in her mind that she is a part of that equation. If it's not offered up, if she doesn't agree to it, it can't happen. Okay? But she's offering to do these things that she is trying to characterize to us, the audience, as something that is so, so disgusting and crazy that it just boggles her mind. But you have to realize that she provided the service. She's saying that these men are garbage and they're crazy and they're nasty and all of this, but you provided the service.
get older and get more experience, obviously you know your boundaries and but when you're first into it, you do get pressured a lot to do things that you may not be so comfortable.
Okay. She says that when you get older, you learn your boundaries. And see, that's important too, because once you run your first scam on a guy, let's say we go into some of the stuff that we're seeing here, where we're starting to see some of these false allegations. Once you run your first false allegation and it goes through, you get paid, whatever the case may be. Then it becomes easy the next 2, 3, 4, 5 times that you do it. This is the same thought process that you see in these women, that you see in others who victimize other people. Okay. And this is not to say that all women do this. I'm talking about a certain subset of women who are victimizers out here, but no one cares about the men being victims to this type of finessing. Okay. Now, these men pay for her services. So if that's legal where she is, hey, that's fine. But then she's going out providing a service and she's looking down on the clients. So secretly, she hates the men that she serves. And you'll hear that in this. Here we go.
With every client you see puts you at risk. When they pay the money and want the certain service, they're happy with it until after they come, and then they feel like a dickhead and they want their money back. And you never know when someone's going to have a psychotic attack.
Okay. She says that, they want it up until the point to where, they release themselves, and then, they want their money back, because then they feel stupid because they paid for sex, something that you're not supposed to be paying for. Okay. But the going ideology now is that the men are supposed to pay up in one way, shape, or form. We're supposed to pay. We're all looked at as Johns, as tricks. That's how we're looked at, And you take what she's saying and then you adapt this into what you're hearing all across YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you want to look at it. And you have to see that it's blaring in your face the same ideology, the same wording, the same feelings behind the stories. Okay? Pay attention.
It's a risky business. One day, I got into a bad situation where I got locked in the room. There was 3 guys, they all had sex with me, and then they didn't pay me. After that situation, I ended up calling the police straight away. The guys actually got convicted, and one of them went to prison. Basically, it feels like you get raped when you have had sex under the impression that you're going to get paid, and then the guy takes the money back, and you feel like you fucking shithead. I'm not fucking you for free. I'm not doing this for fun, especially at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, you hear that? There again, the same ideology. Okay? They're not saying the same words that she's saying, but essentially they are. I'm not having sex with you for free. Now, how many times have you heard that? From every aspect of social media, and not even social media. When you're out in your interactions, with women, it's quid pro quo. It's something, for something, This is there it is. She laid it out. I couldn't say it better. Rewind this as many times as you need to. Listen to it. I'm going to put this in the description so that you guys, can go back and check this out. But here you have, from the mouth of an escort, you're hearing the ideology of the courting process for everybody.
Some of the girls who are illegal in the country or being pimped out and stuff, they are definitely too scared to go to the police.
Okay, let me go back for a second. Also, she said that when she ends up having sex with a guy and he doesn't pay her, it feels like she's been violated. Okay. And she used the R word. Okay. That's important, guys, because that same sentiment is being expressed out here by these other women who come back and at a later date, and they say that basically, something happened against my will, and then later on you come to figure out that, it wasn't against her will and she agreed to it, or that because he didn't do a certain thing, or he wasn't in it for the long haul and he was done with the process, then all of a sudden you have all these allegations come back. Oh, he violated my kid, or he violated me, or he stole something, or whatever, or I'm gonna run him over with a car. You just see all kinds of different things out here, but there's still a feeling that you owe them for the most basic of interactions. And that comes across in this as well. So let's move on. Oh, and too scared to go to the police. See, this is another common, excuse given. Well, they're not going to do anything, so why should I go and report it to the police? Why should I go out there? Because no one's going to believe, a woman. Nobody's going to believe a black woman. No one's going to believe a trans. No one's going to believe whatever. And I'm sorry, there's a process and you have to go through that process. And until they say they don't believe you, guess what? You still got to go through the process. So if it happened, no one should have to force you to go through that process, because you ought to be mad as hell enough to where you would go and report this individual and try to get something done as soon as possible. But for some reason, we don't see that. And then we get all of this historical baggage that's presented from times when these women weren't even alive. So you didn't go through any of that. So that's a narrative that's been given to you, that you now believe that you don't have any rights, or you didn't have any rights, or, you weren't able to, to do this and that, back in the olden days. But you didn't live back in the olden days. So there's a process. So this goes into this teaching of narratives that has basically polluted the mindsets of some of these young ladies, and have them basically thinking that they have to do this in order to get ahead in life. So let's move along.
You have to have like 4 layers of skin in this job. You have to have very thick skin. Men can't go to a normal girl and tell them, I want you to shit on me, or I want you to force me to suck a cock. They have to go to escorts for this sort of stuff. Like the guy.
Okay. There's another aspect of it. Okay. So a man can't go to a regular girl, wife material, and get the kind of sex that he wants. Therein lies a problem. Sexlessness. Dr. Tia Son Johnson's talked about this. I'm going to get into this at some point. We've had some personal discussions about this, but that's, if you can't get that at home because they have a mindset that I'm not going to do that, or I'm too good to do that, or you have issues with sexuality to the point to where, you're not comfortable with it. There's all kinds of things that come into play with that, whereas some other women have no issues with that at all. They come into it and they go 100. But then you have other women who give you 30%. You know what I mean? And, it's unfortunate that in order for you to get 100%, or 100% and some nitrous, you have to go to a certain type of girl, and that's unfortunate. And I think that's another aspect of society that has been damaged by a narrative. You should be able to go 110% with your husband, but you have women out here who don't do that. They go 110% through the getting up to and touching marriage. And then after that, they back off, which causes a problem, which creates an industry of these type of women out there, because you have these people who basically all dress like they're ready to go 110%, and add some nitrous to it. But then when it comes down to it, you're getting regular old, but they all think that what they're giving you is 150% with nitrous. Nobody thinks that they have some garbage coocheroo. Okay. So let's get off into this a little bit deeper.
When it comes to me to eat my shit, he's not going to ask his wife to shit so he can eat it. So a lot of them have actually come to me talking about their wife the whole time and saying, my wife's like this, my wife's like that, this is why I do it, and justifying it to me. And I don't really care. I don't need justification of why you're booking me. I just want the money.
Hear that? She doesn't give a shit. But, she tried to make these men look like they were the garbage heads and, the dregs of society because, they're out there with her doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And she's going to the extremes about what these men are asking for. But I can guarantee you that she's not getting, all of her clients are not asking for the extreme, and she says that they're all talking about their wives and how they want that from their wives, but they're doing it with her, and then she takes it to like I said, to the extreme so that you can't feel any empathy for these men, but these men to some degree, deserve some degree of understanding on a macro level about the views that societal pressure tends to put the boxes that it puts us in. It's like that song, from it was a show, Little Boxes. Everybody live in the same houses. Everybody, walks the same. Everybody talks the same. Everybody has the same jobs, and they're all built out of ticky-tacky and they all look the same, All right. So that's kind of where we are, but there are people out here who don't want to be like everybody else. There are people out here who have unique needs and desires and whatnot. And we're not talking about extremes. We're talking about basic stuff, you know? And then you have people who they give everything to, and then they don't want to give anything back because they don't feel like they owe you anything, but you owe them everything. And that's this lady's clients. Okay, so let's move on.
But obviously they feel guilty in a way. That's why they have to explain themselves. Even you're an
So a person who is not worth a shit, you know, why would they feel like they have to explain themselves? If they really were without any kind of soul, you know, any redeemable qualities, then why would they try to explain themselves to her? You know, and she seems to be the soulless person because she says, I don't give a shit. I just want your money. Okay? Keep that in mind. This is the consummate get in the bag attitude right here.
Escort, you start to think every man does this, and it gives you really trust issues. A lot of young people do it as well.
Okay, there's another aspect of it. She says that the more she's out there in it and the more she sees the world for what it is, she thinks that every man is like that. So see, this is another thing that you start to see with a lot of women who tend to think that every man is like that. Every man cheats. Every man is you know, should be like this or should act like this or, you know, or has done this or that. You get this in their heads, you know, because they don't really know what it is to be a man. They just see it from the outside looking in. So, you know, they're trying to figure it out in their heads. And it's a common thing that you get in some of these conversations. And I'm going to tell you from here on out, you think about these conversations and what they're saying. And when they look up towards the ceiling and they start looking around and stuff, they're actually trying to figure out what you're really trying to ask them, what you're trying to get at. So it's like playing chess with them. You don't ever get a direct answer. You get a chess move to basically block you from the answer that you're trying to get.
Expect it to be people that aren't good looking, can't get girls, people that have confidence issues. It's not like that at all. Some of my biggest clients who spend on me regularly are very good looking young guys. Some of them are drug dealers, they've got a lot of money to spend and they just want a late night fuck and they don't want to have to go through the whole calling up someone they know and all that. So they just do it for convenience. It's just a sad world that we live in that you can earn so much money from literally selling your body, and if you've got a normal job and you work damn hard, you can't even get close to the figures that you see. Over the years, I've hit $1 million. I've had so much designer clothes, luxurious holidays, beautiful things, and it doesn't buy happiness. I need some life-changing things to happen now because otherwise I'm going to be stuck in a cycle and I'm 40 years old, still fucking men for money.
Okay, you hear that? Okay, so she's had all of the stuff that she could ever want, ever desire. But she's still having sex with men for money, you know? But she says she wants to break that cycle because she doesn't want to be 40 and still having sex with men for money, okay? She's had all this luxury shit. She's had all of these holidays. She's had all of this stuff. And she wants you to feel like, it's a shame that I can't do this working a real job. Now, this is a college girl now. And I guarantee you she finished. She finished, but she took the easy way out. And now she wants you to feel sorry for her because she took the easy way out.
Which I do not want. It's bad enough as it is that you stoop that low in yourself. And you have to be a very strong person, especially to not take drugs while doing this job. Because you see a lot of shit, and also it's very depressing and lonely, and you live a lie.
Hear that? She says you live a lie. You know, but most women's perception of what reality is a lie. And when you try to bring them back in and to rein them back into what is reality, there is violent resistance until the wall sneaks up on them, and then they either get it and just go ahead and say, hey, I didn't do what I was supposed to do. People tried to tell me, move on. Or you become that person filled with hate and vitriol and you lash out at everybody else and it's everybody else's fault. i.e. Vivica Fox. And, we see this, but you have people out here trying to tell them there's a difference between what you want and what you need. And what you need is not as glamorous as the wants and what you see on reality TV and all of these things that women think that they need right now when they're young. And hey, I get it. I get that you should want to do these things when you're young, because when you're old and your knees are all worn out and shit, your back doesn't pop like it used to, you can't have all that gymnastic sex like you used to, yeah, some things you better get it while you're young. I totally agree with that, because let me tell you, when you hit that 47, 48 and that 50, it's going to be a game changer. Then you're going to be starting to look for somebody that can lay up with you and in your menopause years, and not, so you can be pampered and not really have to, you can say, no, I don't feel like having sex. I'm having hot flashes. I'm this, I'm that, and blah, blah, blah. And you think that's cool, at that time. But still, that's when this lady's clients go up, because those are the, I hate to say this, those are the trade-in years, because, you have gotten all of the fun out of that ride that you're going to get once you hit that point, because then it's a whole different organism after that point. You think I'm lying? I'm going to do a show on that too. Menopause is a MF. Okay? And see, they don't think about any of that stuff. These things, young men thinking about getting married, you need to weigh these things, because sex is a need, not a want. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay? It's a fact of life. It's been worked out by science. Everybody acknowledges it except for them. They're out here acting like you don't have to do all of that, but they'll do it for money. But let's move on.
When I was younger, I used to be a bit more open about it, but I found very quickly that people don't want to talk to you if you are a sex worker. It's not a respected job. It's something you don't feel proud about shouting out to everyone. And sometimes I think I've got PTSD.
So, okay, here it comes. Here comes the victimology of oh, I've done all of this shit and I'm damaged and I'm really a victim of all of this, and then she tried to talk to people about it. She tried to share, because she felt like, hey, I was making all this money, so it doesn't matter how much I'm getting it, but then, or how I'm getting it. But then she the people are telling her basically, you're despicable shit. You're a sex worker. And then all of a sudden she wanted to keep it to herself. And then she walks around like royalty with all of the stuff. And then she gets envy, from the other women who look at her and all of the stuff that she has, and really what's not being said here is women are competing with each other a lot more than they are trying to get attention from us. I don't know. Maybe it's tit for tat. I don't want to say a lot more, but I think both are equally as important. You hear this all the time. Women say that basically, I'm not getting my hair done like this for him. I'm getting it done like this because I like it. I'm buying these purses for me. I'm buying these dresses and showing my stomach and all of this stuff for me. Now there's an aspect of that where they want attention from men too. But then, I don't know how much one overrides the other, or how much they are conscious of what is the prevailing position. I'm gonna probably need to think on that a little bit more, but it's interesting nonetheless. So let's move on.
Because I literally get flashbacks sometimes of just random times of different clients, and I had a goal in my head that I wouldn't be doing it past a certain age, and I really don't want to be doing it after that age, because I want to have children and have a normal life. That's really all I...
Now, you hear that? Here's the crazy thinking right here, the magical thinking that she's going to have a normal life after having sex with thousands of men and shitting on men and doing all kinds of stuff. And now after this, she's going to be able to be with a normal guy and have sex with that guy and cater to that guy and all of that and have a child and take care of the child in a normal way and, not look at the world like it's one big, mental health fest. You think she's going to be able to do that? Probably not. But think about, listen to what her dream is, to have a normal life. See, so this is the point in life where you pull your 304 card back. This is the same thing that happened to the ladies in the Playboy Mansion. When you ask them, why did you stay? I stayed because I wanted to be famous. Okay. You got other women out here who have, Oscars and have had shows and have been stars and shit. And then they come back in their 30s and 40s and shit. And they say that, I had to do all of this stuff. I had to gag on some shit and all that kind of stuff, I did that because I had to. I was forced to do that. No, you wasn't, because you had the option of saying, fuck this. It's not for me. I guess being an actor is not for me. If I got to go out here and do all kinds of shit like this, I guess acting ain't for me. And that's the other aspect of this, that, they act like that is not a choice to just go somewhere else or to go get another job. They are forced to go out here and do all of this. I say the nay, like Thor says.
But I do want to be rich.
Okay, that's what she said. She said, let's go back a little bit here. Here we go.
But I do want to be rich.
But I do want to be rich. That's how she closed it. She said, I want all of this stuff. I want a normal life, but I want to be rich. So you know what that means? That means I'm still going to be fucking these dudes on the side. So I'm going to get me a sucker dude who's not going to know any better. And I'm still going to do what I got to do to make sure that I maintain this lifestyle that I've become accustomed to. Okay? That's where we are, gentlemen. Ladies, that's where we are. And for the ladies who don't know about this, hey, I don't blame you. There are a lot of people who don't know about this aspect of what these ladies do. They run around as if they're normal people. And sometimes they're out right next to you, talking about some of these things. Or these things that are relevant to politics and whatnot, and and just women's issues, issues that deal with people who are married and all this, and then you just never know the background that these people have, and the lives that they've lived, and sometimes you have people who are able to go through all of this and look at things in a way that is from wisdom. And you have some people who are damaged by it beyond repair. So you have to be mindful of that, Let's see. Did I cover everything here? I don't know. I think I did. You guys check out this show. It is a very good show. It talks about different jobs and how some of the things, how it affects these people, the things that they have to deal with when they're around these ultra rich people, and it gives you some insight into how these people think. And it's not like you and me. It's not like the average person out here who's going to a job every day and who's trying to deal with normal everyday problems. But a lot of times we get wrapped up in the problems of rich people. It's intoxicating, I guess, for some of us to get wrapped up into that. But we have to be mindful that does not have anything to do with us, and we shouldn't be trying to move our lives or our chess pieces in the same way that they do, because it's just not something that is in our best interest. So I appreciate you guys checking me out. And I guess catch me on the next one. I appreciate you guys. And again, salute to everyone who is, liking and subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys. And I guess with that, I am out.
I feel like a motherless child.